Hello and welcome to Conversations with Body and Mind with myself, Nirvana Lange. Body and Mind is your health and wellness online directory. And coming up in today's conversation, I'll be chatting to Andrew Giles, and he's a psychic medium. He's offering conversations, answers that is channeled. So good morning, Andrew. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm very good, thank you, and looking forward to finding out a little bit more about this amazing gifts and what you have to offer. But let's get a little bit of a background story of who are you and what sort of when did you discover this? What led up to you starting to realize that this is have to offer? What are those backstories?
In hindsight, I'm aware that I had a gift from about the age of 4 where I would sense or see an energy in a room or around a person and be able to interpret that by way of a message or a picture or sometimes I'll even smell someone walk through the room and be able to say, oh, okay, someone's here. Um, and this gift worked with me all through my formative years growing up in the church. I found it brought a lot of comfort and healing to people, and it was always used under that umbrella of the church. Um, After, let's call it a near-death experience last year, where I ended up having open heart surgery, and I was in and out of hospitals for most of the year. Um, in my recovery phase, which was a good 2 months, there was a presence with me in the room 24/7, and it was such a wonderfully healing and comforting experience for me. And part of that experience has led to me realizing that what how I operate like this with the gift that I have of being able to see and hear and bring healing and guidance and comfort to people. Um, yeah, I just made a commitment lying in that hospital bed, and I said, no, I've been given a second chance, and I'm going to do the things that I feel led to do that bring comfort, that bring healing, that um, bring understanding, bring closure, all of these beautiful things that we're looking for. Sometimes in my readings, it's as simple as someone wanting to know that they're seen, realizing that God does see them and that their loved ones are there to comfort them. And other times, Spirit will come through with incredibly practical answers as to questions. You know, what do I do with my business? How do I handle my child? And it's always a beautiful answer in directly to that question, and that's what I believe God is about. I always say to people that love finds you where you are. So if you have a question, if you have a concern, God is going to come to where you are. And I feel that with my intention and the work that I do, I am aligning myself with that, with being in that right place to answer a question and be part of that miracle that you're asking for.
Amazing. And Andrew, what did you do before your heart surgery, before you decided to do this as a full-time sort of work? What did you do before?
Well, I still do a little bit of it. I've been involved in restaurants for about 30 years.
Okay.
I'm a trained chef. I've worked in restaurants, hotels, etc., kitchens all over the world. I've moved back to South Africa about 10 years ago and have had a series of restaurants in the interim, navigating, like us, all the various challenges of COVID lockdown and things. And, you know, you go and you go and you go, and I'm lucky. I count myself lucky, whereas I say is I'm still passionate about my industry. I'm still love cooking. I still love serving people, but with a new perspective on health and well-being and a feeling, I think, of a higher calling, maybe, or purpose, or a different purpose in this chapter of life. Um, that my focus is shifting now to doing this work more full time.
Mm,
I still consult to restaurants and hotels on a part-time basis and in between, but
mm.
my main focus is now
Doing this incredible work. Yeah.
this work.
So give us a little bit. You use tarots, and when you do your
Mm-hmm.
channeling, Are you hearing, or, tell us a little bit about how this
Okay.
shows up for a person when they ask a question. Does it come in different forms? Do you always use the cards, or can you also do it without? Yeah, just tell us more about what this is about.
We came up with the name for what I'm doing is saying conversations, answers, channel, just to say, sort of summarize what it is. And like I said earlier, if you have a question, I believe God, being love, has the answer for you. So I put myself in a place to hear that. I started with the tarot about 15 years ago, and I had a natural affinity to it. Since then, I have been studying and rewriting. I've written countless notes and worked through the deck and I keep finding incredible symbolism and connection with that. I use the tarot as a main tool because it gives people and myself a point of focus that is neutral.
Yeah.
A lot of people that will ask a question are, to use the phrase, highly charged. If you're stepping out for an answer, you may have emotion attached to it. You may have a bit of positive or negative a response to the person you want to talk about. Using the cards for me helps create a middle road, a neutral place where we can unpack, using pictures and colors and symbols, the stories around that situation. So I find it incredibly, incredibly helpful. Usually I'll use the tarot if the person specifically asks for it, or if it's a first-time client. It just helps me focus in on that person's energy and on what they're doing. More and more so with a lot of my repeat clients, though, the energy flows a lot more easily. So then I will feel someone walk in, or I'll see a picture, or I'll hear a phrase. Generally, the spirit will present to me in the way of a loved one, someone who's passed, because the querent, the person who's asking the question, also, I love it. I think it's God's way of saying, I see you, and saying, here's your granny to give you the answer that you need. And granny will come through, and I will generally, or whoever it is, and I will be able to see them, describe them to you, give you a phrase or a numnom, a nickname, and it's just beautifully personal. So yes, then it depends also on who's sitting with me. If that person is already very clear and tuned in and open to spirit's answer, sometimes the answer will just come directly as a sentence. That's your answer. Here's your question. Boom, and it will come straight from source, and without the filters. I find, though, when the comfort is needed or there is potentially a little bit of resistance, the message will then come by way of granny or an angel, or the way that my client can hear the answer in the best possible way for them from where they are. That was a long sentence. Yeah, so interestingly enough, more recently, Spirit has been guiding me to operate on a physical realm as well. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose any issues, but like I said, Spirit is very practical. So if you have a health issue or a home issue and yeah, even just yesterday, a lady walked in and I looked at her and Spirit said she's in pain. And I said to her straight, I said, why are you so sore? And she said, how did you know? I said, well, I can see you're sore, and you're sore in your lower back above your right hip. And she just went white. And I said, sit down with me and we're going to ask God to fix that for you. And within 3 minutes, all the pain had left her body. And she had a moment again where she said, wow, someone saw me. And there was an answer to that prayer. And she could go on with her day and go pick up her kids from school. And she was pain free. And yeah, that's happening more and more, and I really enjoy that. But yes, I like to put myself, like the name of what I call myself, answers channel. The channel is just a groove, something that allows the water to flow to where it's needed.
Exactly.
And that's my intention.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's exactly like that, like a water flow, like a channel. Let's do a little play so that people get an
Okay.
idea of what we are talking about. We're going to get an answer for me. So I'm not sure if I want to ask the question directly or if I want to see what the cards have to
Okay.
show.
So because we're not in the same room like this, I will just take a moment to use the cards and focus and just listen on your behalf. If you can give me your star sign, please.
I'm Aries.
Aries. So in the tarot, there is a representative for each star sign, which connects to your, whether you're Aries, Capricorn, etc., etc. And I just like, I've got a little list written down and I try to um, so in the tarot, the Aries is represented by the card called the Emperor. It's a very strong card. It talks to your ability, or the Aries ability, or tendency to like and enjoy systems. I will shuffle the card while setting the intention. The tarot is also broken down into four groups. They are four houses called the Wands, Cups, Swords, and Discs. I will split the deck into four, and I will find where the card that represents you sits in the deck according to Wands, Cups, Swords, or Discs. Wands will talk to our ambitions, our drivers, sometimes the things that will drive us, like we're scared of not doing something, so it pushes us in the other direction, if that makes sense. So I don't want to fall off a cliff, so I'm going to run in a different direction. So sometimes ambitions are like that. Other times you'll hear that, people say, oh, teaching or doctor is a vocation. That's a calling. It calls you forward. So we also talk about the fire in our belly. So that's if your significator shows up there, we're looking at, why am I doing this? If we come up in cups hold water. Water is always synonymous with emotions, with the hidden world, femininity. So should your significator come up there, we're talking about an emotional topic or something to do with the heart. So that guides our answer and it guides our question, answer to the question. If we're looking at swords, we're looking at air. So I always like to say you can see the effects of the wind, but you can't see the wind. So I can see what you're thinking. Well, when you made a decision, you jump into action, but no one knows what's been going on in here before you got there. And we all do it. Someone says, and you something, and you speak too fast, and you go, oh, shit, and you've cut that person. So I also like the swords, air thinking, and we always know if we're not in mastery of our mind and our thoughts, we sometimes speak out of turn and it can hurt people. And then the last house is our disc. It's how those three elements manifest into the real world, and it's what we do. So it's our works, our home, it talks to cars sometimes, it talks to movement. So I'm just have a quick look here. I've shuffled the cards and split them. We will look for you, the Emperor, and we've come up in swords. So air. What change are you looking at instigating? It feels like it's something to do with work.
Well, the only change that I'm thinking of is doing a major declutter and sort in my house, in my home.
Have you been putting this off for a while? Have you realized that by putting off small systems in life that you've also, in a way, squashed your own creativity?
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying this is the first card that comes up here is the card called the Devil, not everyone's favorite, but it talks about needing to express myself and needing to get the energy flowing again.
Yeah.
Right next to it is the Ace of Wands, and that tells me that you have got this energy just waiting to jump out and move you, get you out of this rut. I get the picture of you feel like a car that's sitting there ready to go with the petrol tank full, with the service done, with the spark plugs checked, with everything's done, but the tires are flat. So you're going, oh,
It's feeling stuck. Yeah.
Feeling stuck, and everything else seems to right, and you know that this is something, this creating the system and this decision you've made to get things in order is going to serve you on a greater level in letting energy flow. You've put pressure on yourself to do this before Christmas as well. Is there something happening? Well, it's a silly question, but there's probably something happening with family, and it's motivation for you to say, I want to get things sorted out because I need to either entertain or feel like I'm in a place to talk with these people.
It was something that I put pressure on myself for, but I going to only be able to do it in January. But I have just been told that I have a basal cell skin cancer thing on my nose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm catastrophizing this whole thing. I'm going to die. So I need to sort everything out. And the
Okay, so
percentage is 0.01%, but I'm not a medical person. I don't trust the medical people. I've already started writing my will, so I'm really in this space
mm,
where I need to sort out my shit because I'm gonna die, you know.
where we are going here is the card of the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So this is called in some texts is called the war machine of God. This is an external influence for you that is impacting everything that you hold dear or that you find your identity in. The phrase that goes with this card very well is I embrace God's plan for me. Let him shake everything that must be shaken. That which is for me and from him will remain. Everything else is going to get taken away. So your outward expression and wanting to organize everything is you saying, okay, well, what's important? You've got a lens shifted onto you saying, what am I doing now? How am I good? What am I going to take with me into this next chapter? You've got questions in your mind here, both about systems. How am I doing life? What is important? How is the money going to work? Is everything going to be happen if the worst thing happens, if up, all these questions going on. And then decisions after that saying, how am I going to look after my mind and my body going forward to show that life is going to have value? Personally, I have a knee-jerk reaction with this tower card that pushes me because I've experienced it in my life, but you do survive. You do come through. It is a bit of a thing. Do you have kids?
Two boys.
Two
Yes, two
boys.
boys.
Is one in high school?
No, they're both in their 30s. I have no contact with them since they've been at school. So since they were 10 and 12 and 15, yeah, was the age that I had contact with them. So it's 17 over 18 years.
Have you been thinking about making contact? Because the one who was 17, have you had contact with him?
He was
The
15.
older one.
I did have contact with him, but he didn't know it was me because I was concerned about his younger brother who was going off the rails. He didn't know it was me when we were communicating, but then when I went back onto the WhatsApp, I saw the WhatsApp was blocked. So he put obviously two and two together and realized that it was me. Yeah, that's the normal thing. As soon as they know I contact them through whatever means, they will block.
Why is it? There's a connection here. I'm just trying to. I keep getting told about the one who was in high school, the one who was in high school. Um, we're being drawn back to this juncture where you lost contact with your boys. Have you worked on your own personal processing of those emotions and the split? Have you healed? Do you feel that that is something that has been put to bed properly? Have you found closure around this?
Look, I still don't know what exactly. I don't have an answer as to what it is. My spiritual view on the on anything that happens is that the soul has made this agreement. Their souls has made the agreement. My soul has made the agreement. We've come into this world. We've made
Yes.
this contract, and so this is their journey, and whatever unfolds in their journey is what they've chosen, and this is what I've chosen within my soul's contract to have this journey, which is separated from the two physical beings that I had birthed into this earthly plane. So on a soul level, completely,
Mhm.
completely understand that that's their journey, and whatever way it goes, I have no influence on it because this agreement was made eons ago.
Mm. It still doesn't leave the experience of it here
Mm.
as a pleasant one. And that's why there the cards are showing me that there is a psychological aspect to this as well as an emotional aspect to this that you are dealing with. And this is what's bringing up this need to control and change and repack home. You're looking for a sense of order and control. We're looking on a psychological basis as to, okay, we're going really deep. So I feel like we're going into some really deep waters here. Do you, whew, I feel like you find that there's a cycle of here we go again. But I'm getting shown a cycle. I'm getting shown a cycle. I'm getting shown this repeat. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And the guidance I'm getting here is to look at how have I done things in the past? Having done things the way I have in the past, what has been the reason for doing it? Okay, Spirit wants you to know that you didn't make the mistake. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%.
You didn't make the mistake.
Yep.
And Spirit's bringing me back to that first point where there was a seed of something that said that you made the mistake. And the answer is definitely no. And the healing that you've been doing over the last few years, specifically Spirit says in the last 7 years, you've been focusing on how you see yourself and reinforce it. And you need to bring into that mindfully that you are not the mistake. You did not make the mistake. You did the thing that was right for you. The reason why is all the work that you're doing still sits on this foundation of an underlying thing that's saying, oh, somewhere here I'm thinking, but I made a mistake. Spirit is saying emphatically, as hard as it's been, you did not make a mistake. The decision, the actions, the movement, the confrontation, all the things that you had to go through and the way that you went through them, the things that were the knock-on effects or the, let's call it the repercussions of the decisions you were forced to make for yourself were not a mistake. You needed to go through them. I'm being reminded here that you understood this in your soul contract. And it wasn't that you were here, okay? You chose to come here to be more independent than you've been in other experiences on this planet.
Yeah.
So in light of that lens, for what you are doing and how you've done it, there isn't a wrong and there isn't a mistake.
100%.
There is a way is how do I understand why I'm doing it better and better? So there's a difference. We make a decision, we get feedback, we get the results that we want. Sometimes it'll take longer. Sometimes there's more noise in between the decision and the outcome. But then we need to be introspective. And Spirit is saying that this unpacking, use this unpacking as a physical representation of saying, how did I help myself? How did I get in the way? What have I brought with me? And the big thing that Spirit is saying that you've kept in a little box, wrapped up in a little napkin under the bed in your thing is this idea somewhere here that I made a mistake.
Probably
and Spirit wants you to let
why I'm holding on to their stuff and their toys and things like that, which I've made a decision all has to go. I've been sitting with them for years. It all has to go. And that's quite a big decision.
And it's a big decision. And this is why this card of the Tower is important. It's showing that the way you've seen yourself, you're now seeing yourself through the lens of everything you've carried with you. By letting it go, letting it move on, you can then focus your energy on healing your body so that the next chapter becomes your best chapter. There is some work here. Have you had a full diagnosis and tests done for this?
It's a type of skin cancer, yeah.
Okay.
Sunspot.
This skin condition that you are now stopping to have a look at is Spirit saying, take a moment. You're in good hands. That's the overriding question or answer. You're in good hands. You're in a safe place. You're on the right path. Use this as an opportunity to filter, work through, and redefine. Strip it back to who am I? Why am I here? And I'm getting told clearly, this is in a few years' time, this is going to be such a blip in the radar. It's going to be, oh, okay, that happened. But who am I because of it? and you go, I can see spirits showing me you laughing. You are laughing and enjoying things because you said, I truly feel like I've encompassed and I've embraced my calling. They're showing you again, and the picture is going further from this little thing that I made a mistake. It's almost like it's a brick under your bed, and you feel like if it goes away, the bed's going to sit like this.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's not true. It's not part of your identity. This is something you need to let go. Have a look at your have a look at how you do work-life balance. Have a look at how you manage your money. There's something here to say is look at investing, look at the way you put money in different places. And investing can be many different things, as in a property versus a car, your assets. Look at that and look at it wisely. There's a legal aspect to this, and I think that also speaks to the need you felt to talk about wills and tying up and letting people know. Horrible thing to do, wonderful exercise to do, really, to look at life and say, who's important, why, what's important, redefine, reshape. So look at that. Tomorrow is going to look after itself, but what I do today may have an impact on that.
Sure, there was a lot of fun and a lot of stuff that got revealed. A lot of things that I can take away, and of course, a lot of answers that was revealed. Is there anything else that you just want to sort of bring in with what you have to offer, and some of the benefits, or anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, if there's a question, if you feel aligned or you feel drawn or in some way intuitively guided to connect with me, I work on the premise that the answer that you need is looking for you. To put it in a different way, some people contact me for clearing a house. Some people contact me when they have a physical ailment and they need direction. Other people have come to me and said, can you speak to my cats? And I said, okay. And it was one of the most, well, it has been since then. I've had connected with people's pets as well. And so I believe that if there's a question and you sincerely ask, there will be an answer. I also do, if you happen to be in or around Howick, I do a once a month open session where we get together. We're usually a group of about 20 people, and we have a 2-hour session once a month, which is an open meeting here in Howick. That is just really, really just a beautiful way to connect and experience this work and spirit in a group.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds amazing. And Howick, for those people who don't know, is in KZN, KwaZulu-Natal. Do you do online readings? Well, obviously, like the two of us were doing, you can connect with people's energy and their questions online, or do you only do the physical readings?
I do both. I find that the online readings are sometimes more practical because we all have busy lives, especially as I have a good percentage of clients who are based in Europe and around there. So it's just easier, obviously. But yes, if you are local, it's nice to sit one-on-one. The personal touch is always nice. But I use WhatsApp video chat. Most people have that on their phone, so it's just easy. And we work like that.
Great. So how can people get hold of you? Any of the other contact details that you could share with us?
Yes. Okay. My telephone number is 071 637 9464. That is a dedicated line to this work that I have. It also has WhatsApp. Otherwise, I operate from House at 9 on 9 Drew Avenue in Howick, which is a nice physical place as well. So my contact details are there.
Great. So our website is bodyandmind.coza or bodyandmindblog.coza, and you can interact with Andrew on our blog site. And any questions and also the contact details are on our Body and Mind website. And you can also go to our YouTube channel. Please like, share with people that you think can gain benefit out of these wonderful conversations and meeting our members that can help and assist you with whatever journey you have questions on. Thank you so much, Andrew, for an amazing conversation and connection. I really enjoyed our time together.
It's been great spending the time with you. Thank you.
grateful. Thank you so much.